Mr. Carter, would you give us your full name and DOC number, please?
My name is Tyrone D. Carter. My DOC number is
Parole is called back to order. Today's date, you got somebody must have something. Got it? Yeah. Would the staff at Bossier please introduce themselves? I see there's some people behind you.
Yes, Lieutenant Todd Roberts, security.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Carter, let me explain our process to you. This is a revocation hearing. First, I'm going to read, first what you and I are going to go over your parole revocation questionnaire. And I'm going to read the allegations that you are accused of violating your parole, at which time I believe, there's someone was receiving. Your aunt is present on Zoom, I believe, and she wishes to speak. So we will, I'll read the allegations against you. Then I'm going to ask you to plead either guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. Then we're going to have a discussion about your allegations. Then you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carter, do you have your parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir. Let me get it.
Now, is that your signature at the bottom of the page dated October the 19th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
When you signed that document and answered those questions, were all of those questions accurate and correct?
What you mean, sir?
Well, do you have that parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
That is your signature at the bottom of the page?
Yes, sir.
You made a lot of check marks there indicating answers to these questions?
What he's speaking on, I don't have.
This question right there, do you have anything on?
You may not have what I'm talking about. We'll put it on the screen so you can see it.
Yes, sir.
Do you see that questionnaire now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that your signature at the bottom of the page?
Yes, sir.
Dated October the 19th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
All of those check marks there, you answered those questions on that date?
Yes, sir.
And were those answers all accurate and correct?
Yes, sir.
Are they still accurate and correct today?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to proceed with your hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to read you the allegations against you. You committed the offenses of possession of a Schedule II controlled dangerous substance, flight from a police officer, distribution of a legend drug, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle on June 21st of 2023. You were billed with flight from an officer while the other charges were dropped. And on October the 18th of 2023, you pled guilty to criminal mischief. How do you plead to those allegations?
First, the distribution of legally drugs and CDS, that's just wrong, sir. That's wrong. That part.
So you
right
plead not guilty to that part.
Yes, sir.
You did plead guilty to criminal mischief.
Yes, sir. I have the paperwork. I have paperwork right here stating what my arrest report when I came to jail. I had sent y'all a letter.
All right, you're going to have an opportunity to talk right now. All I'm asking you right now is to tell me, how do you plead to those charges? So you're saying you're pleading not guilty to the drug charges and the flight from an officer, but you're pleading guilty, but you did plead guilty to criminal mischief.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
We'll give, and then we'll have an opportunity for your aunt to speak. Miss LaShonda Powell will have an opportunity to speak. We're going to conduct an interview with you, talk to you about these allegations. Then you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you want to say, and then we'll vote. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll start our interview process. Okay?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been? You were paroled, Mr. Carter, on March the 28th of 2023.
Yes, sir.
What have you been doing since then, up until the time you were arrested? What, just 3 months, I guess. But what were you doing between March and your arrest? Were you working?
Yes, sir. I was working 2 jobs.
What kind of jobs were you working?
I worked at Schamberger Lawn Service, and I had worked at Olive Garden.
Okay. And did you have those jobs at the time of your arrest?
Yes, sir.
Both of those jobs?
Yes, sir. And they
Had you
still
had, were you reporting regularly to your parole officer?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what happened on June the 21st of 2023. How did you find yourself behind the wheel of that U-Haul truck?
Okay, I had met a friend, a girlfriend of mine, and she was moving. She asked, can I help her move? I had failed at the job, so they had let me out for a day to go to the hospital. And as I was going to the hospital, I ended up
going to the hospital for?
Because I had failed at the job. You know, they tried to do the drug test and all that.
And what was your injury?
I had hurt my leg.
All
but
right.
I was able to work. I was still able to work. They just took me out for one day to go to do evaluate and you do drug test screening or whatever. So that's what I did, and I ended up helping the female move. You know what I'm saying?
How did you decide to help her that day when you were off work?
She had called my phone and she was like, do you have any? Can you help me move a couple belongings? And I was like, yeah. So I had called my brother because I really couldn't do too much on my own. So I had called my brother for help. And me and my brother went to help her move her belongings. And
who was in the truck with you? Just you and your brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
And she had certain boxes. It was a box in the back seat of the vehicle. We had moved most of the belongings out. The box that I couldn't move, I was like, well, I can move this box, but I'm gonna drop you off at work. We don't want you to be late for your job, you know, because we just come home from jail, so we're trying to make ends meet with our children, you know. So what I did was, on my way dropping him off, the police got behind me. I'm not knowing that the U-Haul truck was stolen or anything like this here. She pulled me over and stated that the U-Haul truck was stolen. So when I got out the car,
let me slow you down. I have all of the police reports. I've seen the testimony. I've read the testimony of the police officer.
yes,
Now
sir.
let's talk about her trying to stop you and you're speeding on the interstate trying to get away from her. So you tell me about that.
Oh, Sarge, sir, a couple days.
And let me slow you down. You know, and I know there's video of the whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
A couple days ago, my cousin was killed, Joseph Taylor, by the police officers. So I was trying to get to my family members, somewhere someone could see me and then stop and get out. And that's what I did. So
you were running away from the police because one of your family members had been killed?
By the cops. I don't know why. I don't know why they was on
parole.
Yes, sir.
The police officer was trying to pull you over. You knew the police officer was trying to pull you over.
At first I did.
And you went 85, 90, 100 miles an hour on the interstate trying to get away from the police officer. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
You happen to have drugs and all sorts of things in the car that you say you don't know anything about. But you were running at a high rate of speed to evade the police because you were afraid you were going to get killed by the police. Is that what you tell me?
I was scared. I wasn't scared I was going to get killed by the cops. I was scared. I'm thinking they was targeting my family members, period. Because my mom had just got beaten by the police when she got pulled over. I was in Bossier trying to make it to Shreveport. My mom had got beaten by the police. My cousin got killed before. So I was scared. I just come home. I don't even know why you behind me. You see what I'm saying? And
Okay.
once I realized the situation, I got out with my hands up, threw my hands up when someone was there. My family member was out there on the scene.
But you
Got
went
out
on a high-speed chase. They had to chase you down. You didn't just slow down and stop. They had to pull you. A car had to stop you from continuing to go forward.
Yes, sir. Once I got to see, I was in Bossier City trying to make it to Freeport because that's where I was staying in Freeport. So
do you
that's
realize how dangerous that is?
Yes, sir.
How reckless that is?
Yes, sir. And I apologize. And I have learned from that. I have apologized. I apologize.
You know, sometimes an apology isn't enough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what happened was, like I say, I didn't stop. I'm wrong for not stopping. But since I have been in jail, I have rehabilitated myself.
Tell me how you rehabilitated yourself. What did you need rehabilitation for?
Anger, self-control, and patience. I have mastered those things.
You've mastered them. How have you mastered them since then?
Because I have learned to think before I react and take positive decisions and walk by faith.
How long were you in prison before you got out in March?
30 months on a disturbing the peace charge. 30 months. They gave me 30 months on a disturbing the peace charge where I was coerced into signing a paperwork, and I almost lost my life behind a misdemeanor charge. Yes, sir.
Did you take any programs or classes while you were in there? What did you take?
Sir. Yes,
what
sir.
kind of programs did you take?
I had took AA, I had took anger management, and I graduated the Steve Harvey program.
Well, how come none of that helped you? You said now that you've been in jail this time, you've learned a few things. How come you didn't learn from all of those programs you took?
See, then I had a childish mind. So, sir, I had a childish mind, and I was still easy influence. But when I came home and I started doing things for my kids, being able to go to parent meetings and stepping up and doing the thing that I'm supposed to do as a man.
Well, I hear you, but you're telling me that since you've been in jail this time, when you were arrested in June, you've had this revelation.
Yes,
but
sir.
You had all these programs before that.
Right,
and you got into this trouble after you did Steve Hoyle, after you did anger management. You still did all those things.
The reason, like I said, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I commit to hanging with negative people and doing negative things. But since then, again, I have rehabilitated myself. I just need another shot at home. And I promise you, within 90 days, we can have a review or anything. I never failed a drug test. I don't use drugs. I never missed a payment. I don't make it.
Why did you go through Steve Hoyle if you didn't do drugs?
Because this is a part of like to get home faster. Because like I say, I was in jail on a misdemeanor charge where I was coerced into signing a paperwork when I was the one that got
the Department of Corrections on a misdemeanor charge. So
yes,
you were in jail on something more serious than a misdemeanor charge. The Department of Correction don't take you on a misdemeanor charge.
Well, because I had violated myself after I beat the charge.
You were on parole already.
Yes, sir.
Still, you committed a crime while you were on parole. So
a misdemeanor disturbing the peace charge. When they stated that misdemeanor charges don't violate federal parole, and I ended up doing 30 months, really 42 months, because I got a year good time.
But why did you plead to criminal mischief this time when you knew a plea to a misdemeanor could revoke you?
Well, I was told by the judge that misdemeanor charges, nonviolent crime doesn't violate federal parole. That's what I told by the judge, and I have that in court minutes. That's the only reason why I pled guilty to the misdemeanor charge. That's why the other felony charges that I was accused of was dismissed, because I fought it all the way. Because I know I have no knowledge. I have an affidavit state these things. I have an affidavit signed right now by the victim. I don't use drugs. I don't, I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I just need another opportunity in life. And I promise to do the right thing.
Any questions?
I got a question.
Okay.
And in the letter that you wrote us, you made the statement that when you get out of jail, your parole officers need to help you, and that you didn't. What help did you need?
Well, being that I'm a registered sex offender.
Yes.
And, go to the certain jobs they won't allow you to work. And
Yes, sir.
I asked my parole officer, excuse me, sir, can you, can you help me do the things that I need to get a job, to get back into society? He refused to help me with anything. I went to a supervisor. She didn't help me or nothing. So I prayed to God and went out on faith, and I got a job myself. 2 of them at that. And they still available right now. They waiting on me right now to get out. They're
That's
going to
good.
give me back.
And I do see Kate's narrative of May 2nd of 23, where y'all talked about jobs. You tried to get on at Barksdale,
Yeah.
and then she referred you to
That was a supervisor. That was his supervisor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Alan Dupree, the one, the guy, my parole officer. He didn't do anything.
Okay. Oh, okay. But I do want to, want to note that you did get services. You got referrals for employment.
Yes, ma'am, from a supervisor,
Gotcha.
not my parole officer. Yes, ma'am.
I got you. You made
Yes,
that
ma'am.
clear. I hear you loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm still confused. So tell me, just as plain as you can tell me, why are you in jail?
Because I committed an offense of criminal mischief.
What did you do? What did you do?
I didn't stop. I didn't stop. And I think about that every day. I promise, I think about that every day. I wish I would have stopped.
So now do you understand the necessity to obey law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that includes your officer, your parole officer?
Yes, ma'am. We don't have problems. Me and my parole officer don't have problems.
Okay.
None. It's just he was lacking for helping me getting a job. That's the only problem that I had with him.
Okay. Because it looked like you were sentenced in 2016. You got revoked in 2020. You say because of a misdemeanor situation like this.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you seeing the pattern here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I need to choose I need to choose my people who I'm dealing with wisely, and I need to make better decisions. Yes, ma'am. And since
And you're
I
the
have
father of 8 children. The record shows you the father of 8 children.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then you go and still go back to jail. Going to jail.
Yes, ma'am. That's over with. That's it. This is the last.
But you do understand, when you read in your file, you get out in March and you get arrested in June. That tells me you want to go back to jail.
No, it was just I did wrong. Like I said, an innocent person helping a person that needed help and end up going to jail, not knowing things.
You just told me why you were in jail. You just told me because you didn't stop for the police.
Yes, ma'am.
Stay there.
Yes, ma'am. Because I didn't stop.
That ain't got nothing to do with who you hang with.
Right. You're
When
right.
the light comes on,
I'm supposed to stop. Yes,
put the
ma'am.
man up, stop.
Stop. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Conduct
ma'am.
yourself in an honorable way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You didn't do that.
No, ma'am.
Why you in jail?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I had, Chairman. Thank you for answering my question.
Let's hear from your aunt, Miss LaShonda Powell. Ms. Powell?
Yes, sir. You said my address is 2545 Wilder Street, Bossier City, Louisiana, 71112.
Yes, ma'am. What would you like to tell us about your nephew?
What I would like to add is for Tyrone Carter today, when I noticed when he came home this time, he stopped hanging out in the community around the same situations for as in the drug community, he grew up with that was just doing the same old things that he's been around all his life. He immediately manned up, went got a job. He was going to church. He was helping out my mom, older people in the community, whatever he can do, he was there. But most definitely he was away from the normal, like what we used to every day, seeing gun violence and people dying. He removed himself from that. And I admired that this time. He basically isolated himself from our day-to-day life. And he is missed out here. We losing family members every day. I would love to see him back at home with his family, with his kids, because they are the ones that's lacking in this whole mishap with Tyrone. His kids need him. His mama have cancer. He just lost a brother like last week. He couldn't even attend the funeral. This is his second sibling that has passed since he's been incarcerated. And again, I have noticed the change. Working 2 jobs, Tyrone never did work. He came home and got a job immediately. He isolated himself from his friends, his associates. I've seen a change, and I would love to see him back home with his family.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Carter, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Yes, sir. I just asked that y'all have mercy on me today. And I just asked for another chance. And if within 90 days, if you don't see a difference, you can bring me back in front of the board within 90 days of me being home. And if you don't, if I don't meet the criteria, then you can take me back to jail. But I just need another chance in life. Like I said, I mastered self-control and patience. I hated that I was in this situation and I didn't stop. But if I could take that back, I would have stopped.
Okay. Mr. Carter, you keep saying I just didn't stop, but you know, what you did was a very, very dangerous thing. I was a judge for a long time, and I put people in jail very often when they were on high-speed chases. You know, you look around, you read the paper, you watch the news, people are killed every day because police officers have to chase people down.
Yes, sir.
You were going anywhere from 85 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour on the interstate. And you say, oh, I didn't do anything. I was afraid they were going to kill me. Well, I say that's BS. I'm not so sure that I believe that affidavit that you didn't know anything about those drugs. But, you know, I'll accept the fact that you weren't charged with that. But you have admitted that you were on a high speed, running away from the police officers. They had to stop you. I don't know how many other cars were in danger as a result of your maneuvers. You had been out of jail for 3 months when you got arrested for this. So my vote today is to revoke. I'm only 1 of 3, but that's my vote. It's last.
All right, Mr. Carter, when I was reading your file last night, I didn't think I would do this. But because of your aunt and the things that she said today, not because of you, you need help. You need to see yourself. You've been to come back and see yourself. You got 8 children, 8.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to be a good example for it, and you haven't been. But I'm just one vote as well. My vote is in lieu of revocation, send you the work release, and then continue you on supervision. But I do find you guilty of the allegations that's been alleged against you. That's what you think, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Freeman?
Due to your criminal activity, I vote to revoke.
You have 2 votes to revoke. Mr. Carter, your parole has been revoked today. Good luck to you, sir.